Shuckalugga kapow, how's it going, old schoolers? You are kicking it old school at Russell JS, and I am your host, Russell JS. I got another record versus record, two great albums from 1976. Oh, looks like Ollie is up. Let's see what Ollie. Hey, buddy, look over there. Look, you're on camera. Say hi. Say hi to the whole wide world. He's smiling. I don't think he's in the mood, but that's okay. He'll learn, one day he's going to want to be a star. But two great albums, and the really funny thing is, these bands kind of in the 70s became somewhat rivals. Sweet tea mixed with orange raspberry Propel, Gatorade Propel. Best in the world. But here's the thing, you see, one band had already had a record contract, had already put out two albums, and they became the headliner this one particular gig, while the other band had just signed a record deal and they were getting ready to put their self-titled debut out the next year. And on New Year's Eve of 1973 at the New York City Academy of Music, one band opened up for the other. What am I talking about? You wanted the best, you got the best. The hottest band in the world, Kiss, once again going up against Blue Oyster Cult, On Your Feet or On Your Knees. Now, getting back to it was, you see, Kiss had not been established stars yet. They had just signed their record deal, and they were getting ready to put their demo together to get that classic self-titled debut album out there, the one that had Strutter, Black Diamond, and Deuce. And what happened was they got invited to play on December 31st, 1973 at the New York City Academy of Music, opening for Blue Oyster Cult. Now, here's the thing about that. Everybody was routing for Blue Oyster Cult. Blue Oyster Cult was going to be one of the biggest bands in the world because they already had the two albums, and Kiss was a new up-and-coming band that just signed with an independent record label. Nobody thought they were going to go far, but what happened was it was very unusual for an opening act to go ahead and blow away the headliner at the time. And remember, if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit a like, subscribe, leave comments in that box down below, and ring that bell for notifications so that way you will find out about more videos. And remember, tell your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, your grandpa, your college roommates, your classmates, your coworkers. Tell them all about this channel if they like to kick it old school. And, it helps build the channel up and helps the algorithms. Now, what two albums of BOC and Kiss am I putting against one another? How about 1976's Destroyer versus 1976's Agents of Fortune? Now, here's the thing. I love both of these albums, and I don't know. I think there might be a tie. I may have to get a tiebreaker. I might have to pause so I get a quarter and flip to see which one is going to be the winner. I mean, a lot of people, I had somebody comment in one video, why don't you just leave it as a tie? Well, let me put it this way. When a boxer goes in the ring, think about when a, no-name boxer goes in the ring against the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and he goes the distance like Rocky did against Apollo Creed. Let's put it this way. The champion wants to retain that title. He wants to give an unknown a shot. Now that unknown, he wants to go up against the champion. He wants that belt. He wants everything. It's all he ever dreamt of. And the thing is, like in that one first match, sometimes the scores are tied and they got to go ahead and do a split decision. And that's kind of like what I do right there, because I want to be fair. Sure, they're just record albums, but you know what? They're great record albums. And it's just like many albums where I had a tie. I want there to be a record, I want there to be a tiebreaker there. So without further ado, let's see how these bad Oscars rank out against each other, shall we? In the case of Kiss Destroyer, oh yeah, I'm wearing sweats, by the way, a thermal shirt and a pair of sweatpants. We are going to get chilly down here in Florida. And funny thing is, right now I'm kind of roasting. So I'm going to try and make this quick so that way I can maybe step outside for a little fresh air. But until then, let's check these bad Oscars out, see how they rank, shall we? In the case of Kiss Destroyer versus Blue Oyster Cult Agents of Fortune. Detroit Rock City versus This Ain't the Summer of Love. Man, two great songs. I love This Ain't the Summer of Love. It's got a great guitar riffs, great rhythm, great lead vocals by Eric Bloom. But you know what? I love Detroit Rock City way better, so Kiss gets the point there. King of the Nighttime World versus True Confessions. I don't really like the song True Confessions all that much, and I'm not a big fan of King of the Nighttime World, but in my opinion, despite the fact that I don't like King of the Nighttime World all that much, it still beats True Confessions. Ooh, this is gonna be, oh boy. My favorite song off Destroyer going up against the greatest song Blue Oyster Cult ever put out. God of Thunder versus Don't Fear the Reaper. And I love both songs, but you know what? Both are going to get a point. Great Expectations versus ETI. I have to go with ETI. I don't like the fact that Gene brought in that boys choir and did the orchestrations, trying to make it like Sgt. Pepper. I mean, I understand they wanted to be the heavy metal Beatles on steroids, and they wanted, I get that, but I have to go with ETI. Flaming Youth versus Revenge of Vera Gemini. Flaming Youth is okay, but I think Revenge of Vera Gemini is way better. So Blue Oyster Cult gets a point there. Sweet Pain versus Sinful Love. Ooh. You know what? I gotta go with them both. I love them both. Heck it. And here we go. Shout It Out Loud versus Tattoo Vampire. I love Shout It Out Loud, but I have to go ahead and I gotta go, I love Tattoo Vampire way better. And let's see. Beth versus Morning Final. Probably Kiss's first ever power ballad. I would like to say they invented the power ballad, but a lot of people will debate me on that, and I don't want to get into the politics of it. And I love Morning Final. I love Buck Dharma's lead guitar and Alan on the keyboards, on the piano with that. I mean, what can I say? I love them both. Okay, let's see. Now, Destroyer only has 9 tracks and Agents of Fortune has 10 tracks. So I'm going to work my way to this. All right. Do You Love Me versus Tenderloin. You know what? I really have to seriously go with Tenderloin on this because, Do You Love Me to me sounds like Paul Stanley's big ego, You really like my limousine. You like the way that the wheels roll. You like, and then he goes, do you love me? Come on, Paul, give me a break. Now, here's the thing. If only Destroyer had the 10th song, going up against Debbie Denise, because I really don't like the song Debbie Denise. So you know what? How about this? I'm going to go Blank Space versus Debbie Denise. In that case, Blank Space wins. Now, here is the final result. Okay. Kiss Destroyer with 6 points. Blue Oyster Cult Agents of Fortune with 7 points. That means uh-huh. There you have it, right here. Blue Oyster Cult wins. Blue Oyster Cult wins 6-7. They are the winners of this one. And this is the second time in a long time that Kiss had lost one of these album battles. And you know what? It's not a matter of which one I like the best. It's all about, the luck of the draw. Who's got the better songs, and that's why I try to be fair with everything with these albums, because some of you might think, oh, you don't like that album. I love the album. I love it all, and I love it. I love Destroyer and I love Agents of Fortune. I mean, Agents of Fortune and Destroyer aren't my number one favorite Kiss albums, because there's quite a few favorite Kiss records I have that are my favorite, and same thing with BOC. But, I just decided to go ahead and put them, up against each other, because to me, they're probably the greatest albums of the era. It's definitely American heavy metal of 1976, and at the bicentennial, mind you. So anyway, I went ahead and I got 3 white envelopes put together that I'm using. One is going to be to save up for next year's Christmas to go Christmas shopping. Another is going to be for my CD for the credit union. So I put money away, and then I got a envelope where I'm going to stash money away, because I'm sure you know what I'm doing. My birthday is going to be in July of 2028, and I'm going to turn 50. And one of the things I'm going to do to celebrate my 50th, you see, I've been to Disney World in Orlando so many times in my life. Now, my goal is for my 50th birthday to treat myself to Disneyland in California. I've never been there. I've wanted to go there since I first went to Disney World. And I think in many ways, a lot of people say, there's people that have been to both places, and they'll say, you might get disappointed, you'll be glad you have Disney World in Orlando. It's, almost the same thing. It's bigger, and, Disneyland is so much smaller. You're not missing much. But you know what? There's going to be people that had gone to both parks, both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, and they say different. They say, oh, Disneyland's way better. I mean, it's more condensed and it's easy to walk through, blah, blah, blah. And I'm also going to treat myself, go on that famous tram tour at Universal Studios in Hollywood. So despite the fact that it's only about a year and a half away, I think, it's about a year and a half away. Yeah. Actually, no, it's 2.5 years away. I'm very excited about it despite everything. And I can't wait, but, I'm going to save up as much money as possible so I could do this little shindig. My goal is that by my birthday in 2028, I have at least close to $3,000 in cash. Hopefully I can reach that goal. And hopefully I can reach enough money for, more than enough money for Christmas shopping next year. And, I'm getting things ready. I'm going to be doing some more new things with Kicking It Old School, where, I'm going to start reviewing movies too, old school movies. And, I just want to keep the channel going, because if you remember, for those of you that have been watching me, and I can't believe it's been nearly 10 years since I put this channel up, back in the days of Dr. Old School, I started out with the Basic Fun mini handheld arcades. And now and then when they stopped making those and they were hard to come by, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what am I going to do for the channel? Like, people are going to want to see this. So I just decided to do the record album, just do the album versus album inspired by Almost Human 56. And also I started out with the weekly narc, which became the monthly narc, and then I haven't done a video of it in a year because, things that I've been busy with a lot of things. And, the weekly JS. So New Year is coming. I mean, it's not even Christmas yet. I mean, Christmas is almost here and the new year is coming. So you know what? I got a lot to plan for the new year. I mean, I'm also planning adventure videos as well. I mean, there's some local places I can go to, and I could go up to Orlando. I think the next time I go to Orlando, it's not going to be Disney World, Universal, or SeaWorld, but I might do like the over there on Highway 192, maybe explore the gift shops, the zany gift shops, and mainly go to that Old Town Kissimmee Funland or Funtown, whatever that amusement park is called. I mean, it looks fun, and it reminds me of when I was a kid going to places in New Jersey like Seaside Heights and Keensburg and Point Pleasant, Long Branch, Wildwood. It just it reminds me of all that stuff from when I was a little kid in the summer in New Jersey. But at any rate, that's all the time I have for this video. Remember to keep it real, keep it fresh, keep it chill, keep listening, not just to old school music. Go ahead and take a listen to these albums and compare them. Tell me what you think. Leave comments in the box down below if you've never heard these. Listen to these from front to back and compare them. Tell me what you think. And if you've heard them, give me your opinion. Keep playing old school video games, keep watching old school movies, keep watching old school TV shows. Remember, get you enough of love, get you enough of peace, get you enough of tranquility, less chaos, no chaos, less drama, no drama. Get you enough of everything your heart desires. Godspeed. May the force be with you always, and shucka-lucka kapow!